A police officer is charged with first-degree murder in the fatal shooting of Daniel Hambrick, who the authorities said was running away when he was killed. The family of a Black Tennessee man who was shot and killed by a white police officer in Nashville in July sued the officer and the city on Monday, saying its police department discriminates against Black people and that its officers are too quick to use lethal force. The 34-page suit, filed in United States District Court, states that Officer Andrew Delkey of the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department had internalized a police culture of fear, violence, racism, and impunity that in part motivated his fatal shooting of the man, Daniel Hambrick, 25. The lawsuit, which seeks $30 million in punitive damages, said police officers in Nashville are trained to be paranoid and believe that, without constant police vigilance and the threat of police violence, Nashville's Black community would degenerate into violence and anarchy. Joy S. Kimbrough, who is representing Mr. Hambrick's family, said at a news conference in Nashville on Monday that what was done to Mr. Hambrick was beyond some misconduct. She added, "We want the responsible party to be responsible for their actions." The lawsuit was filed nearly 2 months after a Nashville grand jury indicted Officer Delkey on a first-degree murder charge in connection with the July 26 shooting. The authorities said Officer Delkey shot Mr. Hambrick several times as Mr. Hambrick, who had a gun, was running away from him. A date for the murder trial has not been set. The local police union has been particularly critical of the decision by prosecutors to charge Officer Delkey. The case, which the Tennessean reported as the first time a Nashville officer had faced criminal charges in connection with an on-duty shooting, spurred protests in Nashville and drew national attention as police officers across the country face heightened scrutiny over the killing of minorities, particularly Black men. Criminal convictions of police officers, however, remain rare. In November, voters in Nashville approved a measure to create an oversight board to investigate allegations of misconduct against police officers. The Nashville Police on Monday defended the training of its officers. The Metropolitan Police Department takes strong issue with this inflammatory attack on the department as a whole, our officers and our training academy, the Nashville Police said in an emailed statement about the lawsuit on Monday. The Metropolitan Police Department, through counsel, looks forward to vigorously defending this lawsuit and correcting the plethora of misinformation it contains. Officer Delkey, who has pleaded not guilty to the murder charge, remains on the police force and is on an assignment that does not involve police duties, according to David L. Rabin, a lawyer who is representing him in the criminal case. Officer Delkey has previously said that Mr. Hambrick pointed a gun at him. Tennessee law permits a police officer to use deadly force when there is a danger to others. Mr. Rabin said last year. Officer Delkey was protecting himself, his backup officers and the public. Mr. Rabin said he expected the city to assign a lawyer to defend Officer Delkey against Monday's lawsuit. He's not going to make any statements at this point. Mr. Rabin said of Officer Delkey. John Cooper, the director of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville Department of Law, said in an email Monday that the department does not comment regarding pending federal court litigation. An affidavit filed last year by an investigator with the Nashville-Davidson County District Attorney's Office said Officer Delkey was patrolling on July 26 in North Nashville when he grew suspicious of a white Chevrolet Impala, apparently because it had stopped at a stop sign and conceded the right-of-way to him. Officer Delkey ran the Impala's license plate and learned it was not stolen, but he continued to follow to see if he could develop a reason to stop the Impala, the affidavit said. He lost track of the Impala but later pulled into a parking lot near another white sedan, which he mistook for the Impala, the affidavit said. Mr. Hambrick, who was near the vehicle, began running, and Officer Delkey chased him, even though he did not know if the man was connected to either vehicle, according to the affidavit. The affidavit said Officer Delkey fired at Mr. Hambrick 4 times, striking him 3 times, once in the back of the head, once in the back and once in the left torso.